Cooking verbs are something you will probably need to know about if you are living in Spain. If you're trying to cook typical Spanish food, you'll probably see a recipe in Spanish. Some of these verbs are also going to be on restaurant menus describing how the food was made. So I have about 20 cooking verbs in Spanish here. Let's go. All of the verbs in Spanish end in AR, ER, or IR, so there's lots of conjugations of these verbs. So as usual, we're not going to go into it. I'm just going to give you the translations, the verb in infinitive, and you can conjugate it yourself if you need to. Let's talk about picar. Picar is to chop. Picar. A lot of times you see the adjective picado, which is chopped. Perejil picado, chopped parsley, for example. Ajo picado. There's lots of things that you will see chopped in recipes. Ajo is garlic. So that's the verb picar. Next up we have cortar. Cortar is cut. Not much to say about that, but it's an instruction. Corta las patatas, or something like that. Similarly, we have trocear. Trocear is to cut something into pieces or into chunks. Trozo is a noun. It means a piece or a chunk of something. So trocear is the verb to cut something into small pieces or chunks. Hervir is to boil. As usual, the H is silent. Hervir, to boil. Calentar is to heat. Calentar. Calentar el horno would be to heat the oven, like preheat the oven, I guess. Calentar. You probably know the adjective caliente. It comes from this verb, calentar. We have rallar. Rallar is to grate something. Queso rallado is grated cheese. Parmesano rallado, grated parmesan. The double L in the middle of rallar is pronounced like a Y sound in English, or if you're Argentinian or something, it would be more like rallar. I don't know. They might use another verb entirely. There's different ways of pronouncing the double L depending on what kind of regional Spanish you are speaking. Next up we have mezclar. Mezclar is to mix. Mezclar. We have cocinar, which is just the basic verb to cook. Cocinar. La cocina is the kitchen. It's where you cook. Cocinar is the verb to cook. We have hornear. Hornear is to bake, to cook something in the oven. Oven is horno, so it comes from the same thing. A lot of times you see the word horno on a bakery, which indicates that they're baking the bread there. They're not just bringing bread from somewhere else. So a bakery would generally be a panaderia, but if it has the word horno on the front, it's probably that they're baking it there. Hornear then is to bake. Agregar, or añadir. Let's do two here. Agregar is to add one thing to another. Añadir is also to add one thing to another. It's got the ñ, añadir. Batir is to beat. Batir, as in beating eggs or beating sugar with butter to make cookies or something like that. Batir. Fundir is to melt. Fundir. On a restaurant menu, you could see queso fundido, for example, melted cheese. I think in Mexican restaurants, it'll commonly say that something has queso fundido. So that is from the verb fundir. We have freír, which is to fry. Freír. The adjective there is also important. Freír is to fry. The adjective frito or frita, patatas fritas, are fried potatoes. Patatas fritas could either be fried potatoes like French fries, or they could be potato chips. Long story, I'll get to it another time, but freír is to fry. Pelar is to peel. Pelar. Pela las patatas. Peel the potatoes, for example. There's also an expression, me la pela, which is I don't care at all. I might talk about that because there's a couple of other interesting ones. Me la suda, me la pela. Just ways of saying you really don't care at all about something. Anyway, pelar is to peel. Sazonar is to season. To season something in the sense of adding salt, pepper, and other spices. You could also probably say salar. Salar is to add salt, to salt something. Salar. But sazonar is more general. You're adding salt, pepper, and other spices. Amasar is to knead. To knead with a K. The step when you're making dough for bread or pizza dough or something like that is to knead the dough. From there, we also have the word masa, which is the dough. La masa. We have medir, which is to measure, medir. Here in Spain, something that's not super common is having like specific designated measuring spoons and measuring cups. People just use a regular cup and they sort of guesstimate things, and you're not going to see measurements like 1/8 of a teaspoon or anything like that. You use like a big spoon or a small spoon, and that's as specific as they get. So that is medir. Adobar is to marinate. Adobar. You sometimes see in the butcher, you see lomo adobado, which would be like pork loin that has been marinated. So adobado is the adjective meaning marinated. Adobar is to marinate. Exprimir is to squeeze or juice something. Exprimir. Un limón is to juice the lemon. Exprimir. And finally, untar. Untar is spread, like spread butter on something. Untar. Untar la mantequilla en el pan. Spread butter on the bread. In the end, that's something more than 20 kitchen verbs. I hope you enjoyed this lesson. I hope you enjoyed the adjectives that I added in there as well. Please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and let me know in the comments if there's something you would like to see on a future video here. I try to give a little bit of culture along with the language. I've been living in Spain for a very long time, so I think I can make things more interesting by talking about Spanish culture as well. Anyway, I hope you have a great day. Thanks again, and hasta la próxima. Bye.